Sillah, and I have just been on the Effiong Jones Show. It's been absolutely amazing. Well, the Outlaws is what I like to call them. They are not my in-laws, but my real in-laws have been absolutely amazing.
Okay.
They have been so supportive, and they've said to me, speak your truth. You said, you're not lying. We were there, we saw it.
Yes.
So, they've been fantastic, to be honest.
And what about have you had any direct response?
They wouldn't. It would never happen.
Okay.
No, they wouldn't. I think they had a rude awakening on the kind of person I was when it came to planning the funeral, because there were certain members of the family that I banned from coming there.
Yeah.
Which again is very un-African.
Yeah.
You know, you just let any and
because you had security.
I had security, absolutely. I had security for two reasons. One, because I thought I don't want any unsavouries there. And also because I knew that there would be a lot of people, and there was about 600 people at his funeral. I wasn't expecting that amount of people.
So just
but I
to
just
some order.
Yeah, and I just thought it would make people feel a little bit more secure.
Yeah.
You know, having that. But, you know, I think it was at that point that they realised that this woman is not playing. Because I said to them, I said, if you come there, I'll have you removed. But I don't think, because it's not a done thing, you know, even my mum was worried and thinking, you know, what are people going to say?
Yeah.
You know.
Were there any members of your family, on your side of the family, that felt that, again, going back to culturally, we don't do something that felt like,
of course.
I know that what they did is terrible, but you can't ban them from their family funeral.
Absolutely.
You know?
Yeah, I did have that.
Yeah, and how did you respond to your family? Bearing in mind that they're probably not taking sides, they just...
My response was, I know these people, and it's my choice.
Yeah.
And I'm not asking your permission, was my response. Okay. That I am doing this, and I will do it my way. I said, because if something happens, the only thing you can tell me is, oh, I'm sorry, I should have listened. I'm not interested, because by that time, the damage has been done. Yeah. And I knew that there were certain people that if they were there, my point was I wouldn't be able to guarantee that they would behave. And under no circumstances was I going to have anybody disrespect the memory of my husband at that funeral. And that, for me, took precedent over whatever anybody may or may not think.
Wow. So, guys, for those of you who are just joining us, I'm here with Dilys, and we are actually we're talking about her new book that's coming out called Not This Widow. It's a book she wrote following the death of her husband less than 12 months ago. So just sharing some of the challenges, the experiences, and in-laws turn outlaws, family gone wild, what can I say? Just everyone losing their damn mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically. So, were there any members... I always ask this question because, you know, everyone knows in every family you've got the peacemaker. I call them the peacemaker because the one's like, oh, okay, this just let them have whatever they want. Let them do whatever they want. There's always somebody. Yeah. Then you also have the one that like, I wish you would. You're coming for my sister? Come on. Did you have people... Obviously you have people supporting you, your family. But did you have people that wanted to snatch people?
No.
Oh, why not?
Because, again, I think the culture kind of took over. Let's just do this thing really. I was the one that was going to snatch people.
Yeah. But, so I get that.
I had to advocate for myself. That was the bottom line, because again, culturally, the widow doesn't speak. So when we have these family meetings, somebody will speak on behalf of the widow, because it's seen that you're being left to grieve.
What about your siblings? Because you know the thing with siblings is you kind of all grow up together. You're kind of all around. So although they just like you, they're still cultured. They're also Western, and they know that.
Okay, so let me explain about my siblings.
Yeah.
I'm the die-hard one.
Come on.
So that's just a fact.
It happened to know.
Do you understand? So
yeah, I know that. Yeah.
So there wasn't anyone that could fight like me.
Yeah.
So
if anything, you'll be the one fighting.
Do you understand? So because it was me.
Yeah. I hear that. I can relate to that.
You know, I just had to do what needed to be done.
Yeah, I can relate to that. You know. So
100%.
did anybody try to, because this is where I always feel like sometimes they could potentially, shout out to those listening to us from Ghana. Hey, there are people joining us from Ghana.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So yes, shout out to that. So did anyone attempt, because this is where people, it's like they lose their mind. They attempt to maybe reach out to the children or attempt to try and do anything like that, especially if you're not giving them any airtime.
The answer is yes.
Okay, like auntie don't know her place.
No, not
uncle,
really the aunties. That's
you better
one
watch
particular
out.
person was, got like another child of the family, to reach out. But thankfully, my daughter was not on social media, and I'm just kind of thinking,
okay,
you've had 3.5 years to do this.
Okay, so guys, we're taking your calls 07539 968 143. Questions. We're going to talk about, so after the break, after the news, we're going to talk a bit about, because I think one of the things I loved and why I wanted to talk about this I wanted to hear more about the advice that you have for people who are here. What are the kind of things they should be thinking about? Not just financially, because sometimes you might be financially organized. But a lot of what you suffered was abuse, basically. Bullying, abuse, and things like that. So even if ultimately they couldn't get their hands on any money or anything like that, the fact is you still had to go through all of that sort of thing. So after the break, we're going to, which is in about 10 minutes, we're going to talk about what other women going through this now, what advice you have for them. And then a little bit, I want to take, because I think one of the things that are interesting is when somebody loses someone, and you as the person who's coming to sympathize with somebody, you don't know what to say. Okay? You don't know what to say. You don't know what's the right thing and the wrong thing, or the wrong thing to say. I remember my sister, it's funny, like, I think we had a family member who died, who lost her husband or something. And I remember my sister saying to them, it's when you say sorry for your loss, that even sounds better. But imagine someone saying in Yoruba, Pele. Pele sounds like you fell over. Do you understand what I mean? Like you've fallen over and they're saying sorry. And it was like, like we were kind of like, so it wasn't the right. It wasn't anything bad, but Pele sounds is sorry, but the way it's said, it's like
it's like it's a different.
You're hurting, you're hurting in the physical sense, not so much the
soul. And
exactly. So it was kind of like kind of moment. So we want to talk about. So when we come back, I definitely want to talk to you about what people should like that, and and how long do you leave it before you contact someone when you've heard they've suffered a loss? That's another one. Because I tend to leave it a while because I don't know how to face it. I don't know how to face it, especially the sudden ones. It's different when they've been sick and they're it's only a matter of time. But when you don't know and it's sudden,
the shock of it. And I think, and I did appreciate that. Eddie didn't just belong to me. I realised that his passing affected, like, so for example, my girlfriends would come to the house. They don't come to see me. They sit with Eddie. Because he's a very entertaining character, very funny, great sense of humour. And my friends would always come under the pretext of coming to see me, and they would sit with Eddie. So when Eddie passed away, I have about 2 or 3 friends who have actually said to me that I find it hard coming to the house.
Yes.
Or they would try to fight the tears for my sake, and then before you realise they are in tears, and I'm like, it's fine, because I appreciate that he wasn't just in my life, So, I think you do give allowances for how other people are feeling. I think what I personally have resented, and I know that's a strong word, but I have resented it a lot, is being told how I'm feeling. Okay. People don't ask.
Okay.
Not.
All right. We'll we'll park that because
Yeah.
I want to pick that up in detail
Okay.
after the break. So so looking at some of the messages we've had people say sorry for your loss,
Thank you.
condolences. Someone's saying, yeah, they're looking for wealth to see what they can get.
Yes. That too.
Yeah, they're looking for wealth to see what they can get. And I don't know if there were any questions there or anything that you want to take. How everything considered, how are you? Just generally, how are you?
Tired. Exhausted. One thing with me, if you're asking me how I am, I will not say I'm fine. I don't do that. I'm exhausted. And I think coming up to that anniversary as well, I feel that I was in a kind of reasonable place, but obviously doing the book and having to reread it when I thought that I didn't have to, there were just a couple of things that needed to be looked at. It didn't put me in a good place because, you know, contrary to what people think, writing the book was not healing. I don't see how it could be.
Really?
No.
Wow.
Because it wasn't a story of triumph. There is no triumph there. I've lost my husband, and that's the crux of it.
Yeah.
So it was a very difficult book to write that had a profound effect on my health.
Okay.
So yeah, it's been very tiring. You know, I can't express that enough, really.
Okay. I think, just trying to see, I think someone's requesting to join us on video. If you have questions, can you please give us a call? I know a couple of people are requesting for video on Insta, but we might not be able to do that. The number you need to call is 07539 968 143. That's 07939 968 143. Shout out to the Omega page Facebook and those who are joining us on that page. Nice that you could be with us. Again, if you have any questions, Dilys will be taking your questions, and yeah, all questions are on the table. So the one question I do have for you is, you mentioned to me that you don't like being called, to be referred to as a widow. Why is that? Is it too soon?
I feel I'm obviously a widow. You know, I'm not trying to, you know, be funny in that sense. I'm aware of what I am. But I found that when you lose your husband, if you're not careful, you will lose your identity. You stop being called by your name. You're that woman that lost her husband.
Yeah.
And I hate that. Because even as a married woman, and I've said this before, my marriage did not define me. And I know, being an African woman, it's quite unusual because we live for the ring. It's like, once you're Mrs., you've arrived.
Yes.
You can now, you know, look down on women who are single, or you can look down on women that haven't yet had kids. I've never been about that life.
Yeah.
I can't stand it. And I feel that I am woman enough to stand on my own, whether I'm married, whether
I got married.
Yes, and I think being married, I felt it was my responsibility to speak against that.
Yes.
Because it's something that I hated.
Yeah.
And I couldn't imagine not being married myself, and people feeling that just by virtue of the fact that, you know, I haven't said I do, or I haven't had sex and produced children, that I have no value and no worth and no purpose on this earth. And I think it's with the same level of resentment that I think that that title, once again, categorizes you. And again, you know, as women, we can't just be. We have to be something. We have to have a label of sorts before we can have an identity. And I just don't like labels and boxes. I am myself.
Yes.
I was myself before I married.
That's right.
I will be myself after my husband has passed. I am the same person, but there is another layer to me because of my experience.
Yes.
But my experience does not define who I am as a woman.
That's right.
Absolutely not.
Absolutely, 100%. I'm with that. So, but it's hopefully there won't be too many instances where people have to say the widow or that widow, or or make references like that, but not obviously not to your face or anything like that. So is there in your book, is there anything that tackles financials?
Yes, because and I kind of wish I'd even spoken a bit more about it, because again I think it comes down to culture to a degree, because we don't like, as black people, generally speaking, we don't like to talk about death, or let me at least say Africans.
Yeah, Christians even worse.
Oh, so so in the book,
try and sell life insurance to them, they're like,
because we're just being stupid, and I'm gonna just put it out there. We are just being stupid and irresponsible. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, whether you like it or not, people are going to die. Did Miles Monroe not die? Do you see what I'm saying? Nobody knows the future.
Yes.
We have a hope and a desire that we will get at least our 70. But that doesn't always happen. And the same Bible that we read, you can see it doesn't happen. Therefore, we have a responsibility to take care of those that we are going to leave behind, or we could potentially leave behind.
Yes.
It is important. And I do tackle it from a Christian perspective. Culture versus common sense versus, whatever. Christianity, because, and I do use some of the phrases in the Bible where we talk about, with long life have I blessed you. So that's what we name and we claim. Yeah. But so where do we strike the balance between being spiritual and being practical and being sensible? That's the $64 million question. So I do speak about that quite a lot, that it's really important.
What else is in the book, aside from the advice and financial, what else?
How to deal with grief, how we support people who are grieving, how it's important that you grieve authentically yourself. Because one thing that I was very clear on, I was speaking to my sister earlier on today, that I embraced every emotion that I felt. Because I was afraid that if I didn't do that, I didn't want to wake up 6 months later or a year or 2 years later and bam, I'm suffering from this, level of PTSD and not knowing what to do with it.
I wanna pick up on the fact that, because you and your husband are from different countries, different cultures, and both West African, but still different. And obviously they came for you in terms of the outlaws, outlaws came for you because they felt they could. Yeah. So I guess I want to talk a little bit when we come back about how, when you're from a different culture to somebody and you don't speak the language,
I did that.
What are the things, how do you set yourself up, not that you're planning for your husband to die, but how do you set yourself, how do you build allies? How do you build allies and with certain members of the family, or should you? Should you be thinking that way? Or is there things that you should be doing to embed yourself in the culture so you don't get taken advantage of? Because even though you're not from Sierra Leone, you speak, what's
Creole.
that language? Creole, yeah, exactly. So you kind of...
For some of those reasons that I feel that it is important to integrate. It is important.
So guys, we're just been talking to Dilys about her new book coming out called Not This Widow. We'll be right back after the news, so stay with us.
Vision is to re-establish the interests of the Afro-Caribbean and other...
Guys, we'll be back after the break.
In addressing the issues...
And you can phone in.
So you can call in.
And most of all,
come back, okay?
The number is 0753 996 8143.
Welcome back, everybody. Hope you enjoyed the news. So we're back on. We've had a few calls during the break. So if you called in earlier on, please do give us a call back. We're here and we're taking your calls. So so with me in the studio is my guest, Dilys Sillah. Why am I doing that? Dilys Sillah. And we're talking about her new book coming out called Not This Widow. Dilys is an author. This actually is, she's actually got another book out called Predator or Prince. That's been out previously. But the new book, the one we're talking about today, is called Not This Widow, and that comes out on that's available on pre-order now. And it's available on pre-order on Amazon, and it comes out on the 21st. And we'll be launching on the 24th. And we'll be giving you guys more details about that. In the meantime, I want to do a quick shout out to our Facebook and Instagram joiners. Thank you for joining us. And please, we're taking questions in the comments if you want to use comments. Well, really, we would like to, Dilys would like to hear from you. She'd like to take your questions. And so would I. So if you could give us a call, the number you need is 07539 968 143. That's 07539 968 143. Again, shout out to those joining us on 104.1 FM and www.omegafmradio.co.uk. Dilys, welcome back.
Thank you.
Okay. So before the break, we were talking about your book. So this book came about as a result of the sudden loss of your husband. And it talks a lot about what you went through in terms of during your grieving process, in terms of the challenges with family and in-laws who became outlaws. And I love that. I can't stop saying it. You know, and in-laws who became outlaws. And so we're dealing with that. I wanted to ask you quickly before we talk about the advice you have for people, well-wishers. Can I call them well-wishers? What else do you call them? You know. Okay. We've actually got a call from Ghana. Hello, caller. You're welcome. You're joining us live. How are you today?
Hello, very well, thank you. My name is Effiong Jones Show. I'm calling from Ghana.
Okay.
I just want.
Welcome. I said okay, like you're calling from down the road. Sorry.
No, I'm calling from Ghana.
Thank you. Thank you for listening to us. Yes. What would you like to say?
I just want to say congratulations to Dilys.
Thank you.
I think that it's not. I just want her to know that it's not just widows who will look up to him, to her. Sorry, but I think that she's a great encouragement to anybody who have lost something very key.
Yes.
It tells us that you lose something, but it is time to rise up again and do what you're able to do. So I mean, some of us look up to her. And she's been a lot of encouragement to most of us who have been following her. So I just want to encourage her to feel well done.
Thank you very much.
Good work done. And we'll be expecting her in Ghana soon.
Oh, you're going to make me
Dilys,
cry.
so well done.
Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate that so much.
Thank you so much.
Nice.
Thank you so much, caller. Thank you so much, caller. We really appreciate that. I think another thing people don't know. I don't think I've ever seen you tear up.
You know what?
Yeah.
I do cry, you know. People think I'm so horrible.
No.
I do have water in me. It does come out through my tear ducts. Believe me, they do.
You just, yeah. I was going to right, so there's a few things people don't know about you. Even though you're a speaker, you're an author, you were I don't like saying
think I was a stripper.
You are a singer. Even though you like to say, you know, I used to sing and all that. She's an amazing singer. Okay, so let me just put that out there. That's one thing people don't know. But the other thing people don't know about you, you started. I like to call you an activist because I think it's strong people that activists. And you started a thing called Who Would Hear My Cry?
Yeah.
And I don't know where you come up with this name. It must be an anointing because
I think it's divine where these names come from.
Yeah, and it's like, let's switch gears a little bit because I want our listeners to know a little bit about you. Tell us a little bit about Who Would Hear My Cry and that work you do around.
Okay, so I started Who Will Hear My Cry a few years ago because of basically online bullying of a victim of rape. And I was very concerned at the definition that we women had of rape. And I was appalled, to be honest, the fact that we are in this country and we are so, we were so clueless about what rape was and what it wasn't, and what constituted rape. So I did a video about it, and the person that was accused of rape, his brother, threatened me with other members of their family. I don't know what it is with people in their families, but yeah. So they threatened me, and they were, just basically, annoyed at the fact that I had put this video out there, which didn't throw any accusations at anybody. I just basically gave the definition of what rape was, what it wasn't, and I spoke about consent, which was an element of my whole argument that I didn't think that anybody had considered. It was like, well, if a girl goes to a hotel room, she can't cry rape, as if location has
anything to do with it.
Determines whether somebody can be raped or not. So that was why I started Who Will Hear My Cry, because of the number of women that contacted me subsequent to that had been raped and felt, and what was said to me was, for the first time, somebody was speaking on their behalf without judging them.
Yes.
And that's what made me, I think it was a telephone conversation where I was like, well, who's going to hear the cry of these women? And that's where the name Who Will Hear My Cry came about.
From. Okay. I just wanted to give people an insight a little bit into what a bit about your background and what you do. Tell us about Eddie.
The kind of person you are?
Yeah, so, we talk a lot. Sometimes I just think, we're talking about you suffering this loss, and the book is a lot about how you dealt with things.
No, I actually start the book. How I talk a lot about Eddie, how we met. So it's not just this dry book that talks about and this happened.
That goes straight in, yeah.
No, actually,
yes.
Because I think it's important that you get to see that we are real people. And another thing is, when someone passes away, they are past tense for you, but they're very present for us.
Yeah.
So when I speak about Eddie and I say Eddie is, it's not a slip of the tongue, because to me he is.
Yeah.
In time, that wording may change.
Yeah.
So I will speak.
Even I noticed, because I struggle to say your late husband.
I haven't even said that.
I struggle to say, so I'm always saying, your husband, I'm always talking like that because I'm struggling to say it.
I've not actually used that term to say my late husband.
Yeah.
I'm not there yet.
Yeah, that's understandable.
Because there's a lot of vocabulary that kind of, you'll get there when you're ready.
Yes.
And sometimes it will happen subconsciously, and that's why I'm saying that, for example, I'll speak about Eddie and sometimes it's in the present tense, Eddie as a person, okay, so again, stereotypes. You have the wife, you have the husband. The wife's a bitch, the husband's really lovely.
Okay.
That's just standard. It's just a cross you have to bear as a wife. The man is nice, but that's his wife. Standard, yeah? So people would think that because I'm a very strong whatever woman, that I was married to this mouse. Okay. Now,
Guess again.
No. And why would a woman of my class and caliber be interested in a wimp? Because essentially, that's what some people kind of would have liked to have thought that, oh, because you're so strong, or you know,
and he's
but
more
he's like
quiet.
this moo.
I'm like, why do they think that?
Because they're stupid.
It's just like, I get that all the time, but like with my husband.
Why
Like,
would a woman like me want a man that's not a real man? Like, seriously. Only a real man could handle it.
come on now.
Do you understand? So why would I want jumping? It's like, oh, yeah, yes, how high.
Come on
I mean,
now.
really? Nah, it wouldn't interest me in the slightest.
Yeah.
I'm too much woman for that.
Yeah.
Trust me. So my husband was a real man. And very witty. Brilliant sense of humour. Like, very, very sharp. Very stubborn. Could bear a grudge like nobody's business when he's ready. Trust me, used to drive me nuts. But very protective. He was very proud of me.
Yes. Oh.
That was one thing. Eddie was very proud of me. Like when I wrote the book Predator or Prince, and I even put this in the book, he started a WhatsApp group, which I didn't even know.
Yeah.
To tell all his friends that you need to go and buy my wife's book. What I did love about him was when I started to hear my cry, Eddie got really involved behind the scenes. So he would, I mean, I would be out and I would have like a newspaper clipping of some case and he would WhatsApp it to me. Or he'll record something, Dilys, you've got to watch this. He was very involved, which I thought, because sometimes I used to say I used to feel sorry for my husband. And I'll explain, The woman he married and the woman he ended up with, like two different people. It's like I grew into my own as a woman. And whereas I was quite content, you know, of being a wife, doing my music, and I just kind of morphed into this beast of a woman that was not taking no crap.
Yes.
Was out there fighting on behalf of people. And I'm sure there were times where he was like, what happened? You know, it's like, whatever I was, I grew 10 times.
Right.
But that's testament to the man that I married.
Yes.
That I had the space to do that. Because there's a lot of women that, not that they don't want to grow, they're afraid of growth.
Yes.
Because they don't know how their husbands would respond to it. Whereas I didn't have that at all.
Yeah.
And that's what a real man is. That's a man.
Yeah, it's a priceless thing when you have a man that 100% supports you without any hidden agenda or competition or insecurities. That's happy for you to just shine.
Definitely. I mean, that's the one thing that people kept saying after he passed away. You know, my niece came to the house and, you know, again, you could see she was fighting the tears because what would happen is she'd come with my nephew and his nephew wouldn't come to me. I don't know if that child don't like me, but he would always go to Eddie. So he went into the living room and obviously Eddie's not there. And he's looking around and then, because he couldn't articulate, and he, you know, went back to his mum. And, you know, when my niece was talking to me, she was in the kitchen and you could see she was doing stuff, but I could tell that she was this close to bursting into, in the end she just couldn't hold it anymore. And I said, it's fine, it's okay. Because I understand, you know, how people feel when they come to the house, because he was a very larger than life character. And Eddie could hold court and he was very intelligent. When it came to anything to do with current affairs, history, like if you say to Eddie, oh, I'm from the Seychelles, Eddie will give you a running commentary on your history, how that language, you know, it's, for me, I felt that the world had lost this huge knowledge base. You know, like with all that's going on with Donald Trump's impeachment or what have you, I don't need to listen to the news. Eddie will give me a rundown and break it down, you know, an idiot's guide to, you know, American politics.
Yes, yes.
You know, so in terms of, as a man, I think, especially as an African man, I liked his vulnerability, afraid to be affectionate. And I'm a very affectionate person. I can't be dealing with these African men that can't hold their wife's hand in public. I'm not able, you know. I've never dated anybody like that before, much less go and marry them. So I am kind of spoiled because what I'm used to, I know that it's not everybody's story. Like, for example, and this came up in conversation the other day where I was saying about somebody went and asked my husband why I travel on my own.
Really? Is that a question?
Well, people try to do stir. And I could only think that would be the only reason why you would ask that kind of a question. But again, because he was not jealous in that way, if I've got work to do abroad, he's not going to say anything, you know. And I think that the dynamics of our relationship, it worked. Am I saying it was perfect? No, because there's no such thing as a perfect marriage. You only have a perfect marriage if you yourself are perfect. And we know that's not possible. So yeah, we had the normal challenges that married people have in terms of communication, you know, how to resolve conflict and stuff like that. So it was very normal. But, you know, there were just certain things about him, the way he was secure in himself as a man, that made me respect him. Because I don't respect a lot of people, and I don't mean that in a bad way. With me, you have to earn my respect. Titles and what have you don't mean anything to me. Show me the essence of who you are, and you will have my respect. And I respected my husband hugely. And this is why it was always so amusing when people would assume that just because I am this alpha female, that I have a problem submitting to my husband in the deeper sense of the word submit. Not that yes sir, no sir, 3 times 4. Those of us that know the meaning of the word submit, I don't need to explain it. Because I don't have an issue with the man being the head of the house
at all.
Because there's certain responsibilities, you should take those responsibilities.
That's right.
I don't want to share that seat with you. But equally, there's a position I have in the home that you can never occupy. And this is where I think men and women, we get it twisted. We shouldn't be vying to say we are the same. We are equal, but we are not the same. And everybody has a crucial role to play within the home for it to work. And you know, it's like being a manager in the office. It's not a democracy. Ultimately, somebody's got to make a decision and lead and take responsibility for it. And I was very happy for my husband to do that.
I love that where you just said we're equal when we are not the same. And I think we get the two mixed up.
We do get it twisted.
And that's where it gets confusing, because if you say to someone that, you know, you're equal to a man, they'll be like, no, I'm not. But you're equal, but you're not the same.
We're not the
and when
same,
you're not
that's
the
all.
same, there's always going to be something that sets you apart from that person.
And I think as women, we should celebrate that, you know.
Absolutely.
I don't see why we should be afraid to be feminine feminists.
Yes.
You know, I think, you know, we all have a role to play, but it's crucial. There's things that I could do that my husband could never do, like carry children.
Yes.
You know, so we just have to, you know, appreciate that. And I was fortunate because I did have that. I was with Eddie for 17 years, you know, and I had a good life.
So, I want to talk a little bit about what you shouldn't do, or what you should, or how you should do. So again, bearing in mind that everybody grieves differently, individually we're different. So this might not always, I want to just put this disclaimer out there, that it might not apply to everybody in the same way. But I think because you've suffered such a loss, you could help some of us to understand, at least if we can follow some of the steps, it might be a little bit halfway there to getting it right, okay? Because nobody sets out to want to offend, someone who's just lost someone. At least most of us don't. You know, don't want to do that. But when you hear someone suffer the loss, is there a right thing to do or not do? Or and then does it depend on the relationship you have with the person?
I think it depends on all the things that you've mentioned. And it's funny because the things that I didn't like, I had never done to anyone who had suffered a loss. And I think by nature I'm somebody that's very sensitive. And I think a lot. Before I open my mouth, I won't just say things. I think there are a few things that I really didn't like were the cliches. Don't give me your BS. I'm not interested. Because I know that it's just a cliche.
Give me the cliches.
He's in a better place. Don't piss me off. Sorry. And I had to ask somebody, how do you know? Have you been there? Such was my irritation. And it doesn't, you know, when you break it down, and I'm saying
that's
this,
a common thing. So let me.
But wait, I'm saying let me break it down so that you understand why it is not helpful.
Okay.
Because for someone like me, or anyone else that has suffered such a huge loss, as far as I'm concerned, there is no better place for my husband than being with his wife and with his kids.
Okay, is that to do with that moment or how you're feeling?
That's to do with me even nearly a year down the line.
Right.
Because the knowledge that, you know, on your belief system, whether you believe the person is in heaven or whatever, the reality of it doesn't make it any more comforting.
That's why I wanted to say, because as Christian, I'm a Christian.
Yeah.
Okay. So as a Christian, I think what sometimes people do is if they know you're a Christian as well, they try and comfort you that way. So when they say things like, you know, it is well with you, or they say things that...
I hate it. Do you know what? Every single... Because I did a Facebook Live about that statement, it is well. And again...
Isn't that about speaking positive things even in a time
It's not. I hate it. It's rubbish. And if people understand the origins of it, they wouldn't say it. It is not for you to tell me it is well. It's for me to tell you it is well. When you read that story in the Book of Kings, and it was about the Shulamite woman who lost her child, when she was asked, she told the prophet, it is well. The prophet did not tell her it is well.
Yeah.
So when you look at the origins of it...
So it's almost like when you say that, you're caging the person's
100%.
grief. Okay, I got you now.
Because when you're telling me it is well, what is well? What is well? At that point, that 1 minute your husband is alive, within 30 minutes of waking up in the morning, he's gone. How dare you tell me it is well? It's for me to come to that realization, to encourage myself, to lift up my spirit, to say to myself, it is well. But you cannot come and tell me it is well, because you don't know that. And if you feel that it will be well, then you go and pray about it. And you lift me up and you hold me up in your prayer closet.
Okay.
And it's so funny because every person, and I have met a few widows, unfortunately, after myself, and they have said the same thing. That it's like scratching an open wound. Because at that point, how
you want to scream at them like...
it got to a point where I had to tell people, please don't tell me it is well. Or I would say to them, what is well? And one person even said to me, well, actually, I don't know. That's just what we say. I said, I rest my case. And we know that it's meaningless. We know that it's just being said because that's just what we say, isn't it? Well, don't say anything.
Yeah. And then I guess them saying that doesn't give you anything to say in return.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
It's not comforting. You know, and at a time where every emotion is so raw, it's as if you downplay our pain by just throwing a phrase out there.
Yeah.
It's like it doesn't mean anything to you. And that hurts.
So then, okay, so that's it as well. He's in a better place. Why is he's in a better place? Why isn't that comforting? Because, and I'll tell you this because he was a Christian.
Yes.
Right? Okay. So as Christians, we believe that, okay, and maybe they're trying to bring you a bit of comfort by saying that as a Christian, he knew God.
It don't make no
so
damn difference, because if that was the case, you wouldn't even be crying. You'd be like, my husband is in heaven.
Yeah, but the
Lest
crying is about you
heaven.
missing them. So this is me just being...
No, I
just
understand.
the question
I understand why people say it.
Yeah.
But I said, you know, I sat there and I actually analysed. I've never felt the need to say such nonsense to anybody, ever. As far as I will go is, I'm so sorry for your loss. How are you coping?
Okay.
I've always asked the question. I have never in my life, and believe I've suffered many, many, many bereavements, have I ever gone and given those cliche lines. Never done it before. And when you think about it, when you see a woman with her children, and her husband has passed away, him being in a better place, how does that help me? Like, really?
Okay. So it's not that you don't believe that he's in a better place.
No, it's not
just that
I don't need to hear it.
you don't want to hear it.
No, because at that point,
Okay.
what does it do for me? He's in heaven and so on.
Yeah. Okay. Alright.
What's he having a party up
there
there?
a time?
We're down here.
Is there a time that is okay to say he's in a better place?
What would be
Is
the
there ever
purpose?
been-
But the thing is, there are certain things I think it's for the person who is bereaved to say. It's not for you to say. Like, for example, when, I broke it down on the origins of where It Is Well came from, people are like, oh, I didn't know that. Exactly, because you just say things without actually researching. Because that story was very clear. When her son died, she said, it is well. Nobody told her it is well. So even in its rightful context, it's not being used.
Okay, so I'll say this. So not so much it is well. I don't really. I think I personally don't like using it as well when it's not well. Okay, because I think I do use it as well, not in a bereavement kind of situation, but in situation where I want to believe it'll be well.
Sure.
So I will say to myself, it is well, or if someone says to me something, I might be like, and I don't really, because I'm a bit of a bull in a china shop. So the way I kind of pull myself back in is by saying, it is well.
Yeah, so that you don't have to open your mouth and say
right?
something.
Okay. So I don't have to go, to the left,
Yeah.
to the left.
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons I do that. But sometimes I just want to be like, no, it is not well. It ain't well. Because it's just saying, what you did was out of order. It's not well.
Yeah. But you see, again, it's a very African thing not to be honest about how you feel.
Yeah.
We wear masks all the time.
Yes.
Being authentic is not our thing. Someone can do something really crappy. You're not allowed to be annoyed. God will do it. Oh, give it to God. I ain't giving it to nobody.
Yeah.
Do you understand? We are never allowed to be real. And I think this is why people found me a little bit strange. Because for the first time, they're seeing this woman that doesn't care about public opinion. Not in a way that becomes damaging for my emotional and mental health. So for example, when you lose your husband, normally you wear black for 6 months, a year, what have you. I stopped around 5.5, 6 months. I thought, I'm not wearing it for a year. Not because I was trying to rebel, but there were days where I would wake up and I'm relatively okay as you can be under the circumstances.
And you feel like wearing blue.
But then, but the moment you go and pick up that black tie, it's like, don't forget, you're a widow.
Yeah.
And that constant, it was not helpful for me. I didn't think it was helpful for my children.
Yeah. Was there anyone who said to you, you're not wearing black?
People don't deal with me like that. This is where I'm very fortunate. Because of the way I am, people don't feel free to stand in front of me and talk nonsense. They don't. If they're going to do it, it would have to be behind my back. But people do not feel... I'm very clear on my boundaries. I always have been. So I don't allow myself to be disrespected. It's people who are not very wise that do that.
Okay.
And they know how it ends.
Okay.
Because I'm a very respectful person, so I...
Is there anything, thinking about people who are close to you, and then I'm going to come back to the question about what shouldn't people do. Thinking about the people who are close to you, is there anything maybe you've done or not done, and it's called you aside and be like, because you and your sister are very close, okay, and said, you shouldn't, I can understand other people who feel like that maybe they're like, no, you should do less of this, or maybe you should do a little bit more of this, or you shouldn't have done that.
Yes, I think it was being so expressive about how I felt.
Okay.
But other people, I was quite fortunate the people that I had around me were like, well actually no, she needs to speak. If she feels like speaking, leave her to speak, because what you don't want is for her not to be speaking.
Yeah.
And that's what I needed. I did need, and that's why I said I embraced every emotion. If I felt like I wanted to shout, trust me, I'm shouting. If I wanted to be quiet, I would be quiet. But what I didn't do was allow anyone to tell me what to do.
Yeah.
That I did not have, ever.
Yeah.
Because I thought, what I'm feeling, believe you me, I can't even describe it to you for you to know what it feels like.
Yeah.
So I just I did not lend myself to being told how to feel or to be told what to do. It's such a horrendous journey that no matter how much people empathise or sympathise, only you know what you feel.
Remarrying. I know they won't dare speak to you about marrying a brother of your. But you know that's something
No, let's go there.
Yeah. So, has anyone spoken to you about remarrying or getting out there?
I say let's go there.
Okay, go there.
So my husband passed away. Sorry, we had my husband's funeral on the 22nd of February. That was a Thursday. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we had a memorial service for him.
Yeah.
Do you know what? This woman comes up to me in church and says to me,
at the memorial service. Okay.
how God has shown her that I'm going to marry one Oyibo. Let me tell you,
Oyibo, for those who don't know, is
white man. Let me tell you, what saved her was the state I was in. I was like a soulless woman. It's like I was there in body, but my soul was not with me.
Yeah.
I mean, even when Eddie passed away, I didn't comb my hair until the day of the funeral. So from 21st of January to 21st of February, no comb touched my head. You know. I looked at this woman and I just walked off. I would have slapped her. Forget that we're in church. I would have slapped her. If I was of my normal... What level of insensitivity and disrespect? My husband's memorial?
That's I mean...
So crass.
Yeah. But having had some time pass, are there people... Because usually they're not that insensitive. They usually wait a month or something. You know, bloody hell.
I've had them slide up in my inbox and what have you, you know. That's all. You see,
not guys approaching you, I'm talking family members telling you need to go and remarry.
No.
You need to get out there, your children need a father.
No. My family are not like that.
Okay.
No.
Alright.
My mum, I know she's worried about me because for her, she's like, such a young woman.
Yeah.
How the hell did this happen?
Then, yeah.
You know, and she and my dad have been married, it would be 60 years.
Yeah. They've been going for
a long time.
Yeah.
So I know that they're worried in that respect.
Growing old together, because they've had the privilege of having each other and growing old together.
They're living the dream.
Yeah.
And I think
I saw a picture of them holding hands.
Oh, they always are. They're so like, they're very much like that. They're very close. So no, you wouldn't get people in my family doing that typical African thing. It wouldn't happen.
Okay. As anyone from the in-law side, I don't know if Sierra Leonean, if that's certainly in Nigerian culture, it's a thing where they try and marry you off. I don't know which tribe, but they try and marry you off.
To be honest with you, I think they'd more want to get rid of me than keep me in the family.
They're like, no, she can go. You know what?
I said, you are go, they came in business. That's too much trouble, you are big. Are you Sierra Leonean? So you don't say the tea they talk, I treat they talking.
150
I tell you. They say this woman, it's too on board. No, so.
That's so.
So.
Let's stay there. So, okay, so what else? So we covered those two things. What else shouldn't people say to somebody, or what should they? Okay, let's talk about what should they say.
Just be real, and you see, this is.
If someone is not that close to you, they're like.
Just say that I'm sorry for your loss and leave it there.
Yeah,
I think the problem is people seem to feel that they have to come up with some huge philosophical revelation or drop some scripture that everybody's going to fall under the anointing. It's not necessary.
Yeah.
Just respect the space that they're in. We're not expecting anything because you know what? It might come as a surprise, but there's nothing you could say that would make it better.
Yeah. I normally judge people when they suffer the loss, particularly when they're close to me. I'll be honest with you. I dodge it. I don't call. I don't go around. last year, towards the end of it, I discovered sorry for your loss. The word sorry for your loss.
Oh.
And I say it. Unfortunately, I've had to say it more than I would have liked to. You know, but I say, I do say sorry for your loss. So, is there anything else that people, what comforts you that people will say?
Sometimes you don't have to say anything.
It's not to comfort you. Okay.
It's not the words.
Right. Okay.
It's the genuineness of what I've been through, it really touching you. It's and that's the thing, it's not about words. You know, the beauty of speaking to other widows is we don't need to talk.
Yeah.
There is an experience that we have gone through that requires no words. Like there's an understanding at a deeper level. Like we can start off a sentence and the other will finish it off. And these are strangers, people that, you know, I've never met before.
Yeah.
That's when you realise that words aren't necessary. And I think when you go and see somebody that has been bereaved, I mean, I'll give you a perfect example. So there's a friend of mine whom I'd met. In fact, we were not particularly close because I hadn't known her for very long. But when she heard that I'd lost my husband, she came to my house. She's a lot younger than me, I could be her mum. And would you believe this girl came and sat beside me on my couch and held my hand for hours.
And that helped.
She didn't need to say anything. And it's more, you know, wanting people to just respect that this person is going through the hardest thing in their life. And if you're going to be there, be there.
Okay.
Honestly. Don't come if you're coming to tick a box.
What about people who, like me, sometimes who, because they don't know what to say or what to do, they stay away?
I think it's wrong. I'm just going to be really honest. I think it's very wrong and it's very harsh. I'm very fortunate, and I'm not saying this on behalf of myself. I'm saying this on behalf of a lot of the bereavement groups I'm in, and I hear these people say that nobody's called me, nobody's come to look for me. It breaks my heart. That's not my story. Up till today, I still have people that will be in my inbox who will send me a WhatsApp message, who will call me. You know, even a friend yesterday called, you know, because she hadn't spoken to me for a while. It's heartbreaking. Because why should it? Because it's not about you. It's about the person who I cannot imagine. I mean, for me, I'm probably not a good example because I'm a bit of a loner and I like being on my own. But for somebody that needs that human interaction, I mean, I'm hearing women say, oh, you know, I put on a mask and I don't cry in front of my friend because I don't want them not to come back. It breaks my heart. And I'm thinking, that's just terrible. You know, I rang one lady at Christmas because there's just no one there.
One of the things, so I recently had a friend who suffered a loss, quite a tragic one. Her daughter died. And I remember when she informed me, it wasn't over the phone, she sent me a message, informed me. I called her immediately, because, I mean, she's my close friend. I called her immediately and I said to her, look, again, I don't know if this is right. I just said, I don't know what to say. And first I started crying, and then I stopped crying, because I thought, if you're crying, what's she going to do? You know, so in the middle of me, like, so I felt like I was putting my burden on her.
I understand.
So I stopped crying, and then I said to her, look, I don't know what to say, I don't know what to do in this situation. So you tell me.
That's perfect.
You know, you tell me how you, because I don't know what to say. You know, I said, if you want me to be quiet, I'll be quiet. If you want me to talk, I'll talk for England. You know that already. You want to go somewhere, let me know, and I'll arrange it. You know, whatever it is you want to do, you want me to go
everybody did that.
Kick someone, I'll go and kick them. You know, so I was literally like that. You know, and it's funny because she laughed. I don't really think, because the funeral hasn't happened yet, so I don't even think she's not even nowhere near dealing with it. So But it's funny, I find that, she just wants, first of all, she wants me to be around. And I'm thought, okay.
Yeah, everybody's different.
And then she finds comfort in me just being around or just being at the end of the phone, and I didn't plan to, but I somehow make her laugh about stuff, and I'm thinking, and before I know it, everything I'm saying
making her
is
laugh.
making her laugh, and I'm like, that's not even my intention, and everything, and but at least while she's not, because I know she's not dealt with it at all, she's not even dealing with it. She's just trying to get past the funeral, And I think once she does that, maybe that's when other stuff will start. So I'm preparing myself to sort of continue to kind of be there. So so I think one of the learnings for me is to face
people
that sort
need
of tragedy.
you. They really need you. Can you imagine if he'd just gone AWOL on her?
Yeah. Oh, I couldn't. I couldn't even. Yeah. The other thing I wanted to ask you was around. Again, it's about, were there any other things? Because we've got just time, we're just never enough time. I want to talk about men, because women, we can be a little bit better at this in terms of planning and organizing ourselves and things. I'm just saying, maybe I'm being sexist, I don't know, but allow me, man. But how can men, I'm targeting men because when these issues come up, they always come up with the men's family trying to, especially traditionally with Africa, it's always the man's family trying to dominate, take control. How can men prepare themselves? What can they do now without trying to prepare for dying?
One of the things that I mention in the book is that I personally feel that when we have the traditional marriages, that there should be somebody appointed in that family as the go-to person, so that there is a barrier between the wife and the wider family. Because if there was a go-to person, I would have been shielded from a lot. Do you see what I'm saying? So like an appointee.
Yeah.
I would have been shielded from a lot. And maybe that appointee needs to be revived. So that they are a buffer between the family and the wife.
So by an appointee, we're not talking about, define what their job would be, their role would be.
So their role would be the go-to person if there was any issues with the wife. So for example, when Eddie passed away and we were in the hospital, I called one of his very close cousins. And I said to him, and this was the interesting thing, that look, I can't speak to anybody right now. So when any member of the family calls, you are the point of contact. That would have saved me a lot of grief. For whatever reason, that role was not maybe well enough defined or acted upon enough to be that buffer. So therefore, people could circumvent him and come directly to me. But I feel in order to protect the woman, there must be somebody within the family that is your go-to person, so that she's dealing with one person, or a couple of people at best. But having to do with different people, we are all trying to get a hold of me.
So how do you do that? How does a man do that without? So it's not like he knows he's going to die, or
but that's why I say,
at what point, how is that done?
That's why I said when we have the cultural marriage, when we go and do the customary marriage, that should be established. I'm saying that it's something that I would feel would be helpful if we could start to incorporate that within what we do traditionally. Because even though you have people that you can run to if you have a problem, I'm not talking about people that get into your business, because the way Eddie and I were, we weren't really like that. I don't believe I've ever in my 17 years ever gone to my mum and said, oh, my husband has done X, Y, or Z. But I think it is important to have some kind of structure in place that doesn't allow for that direct contact. And also the men have to grow a pair. Because sometimes the way these men act with their families, I was very fortunate. My husband, with him, if you don't like his wife, he doesn't want to know.
It's not,
I was very fortunate.
If you're lucky enough to have a man like that.
But there are some men who they feel that their mothers and their wives are equal. I have a son And I've said to my son that when you marry, your wife is number one. I don't need to compete with your wife. A lot of women need to catch that revelation.
Yes.
And stop being witches.
Yeah.
And trying to,
progress.
Absolutely. And be too involved. But the men too have to stand up and make their boundaries.
You want to be the mother and the wife to your
It's
child.
just ridiculous. Encourage disgusting. I wouldn't even encourage it.
Yeah. Anything else aside from having a go-to sort of person?
I think for the women, don't stay in a marriage that is not productive. And I will say it and I will say it. Do not stay in a marriage that is not productive. You see, some of us insecure women...
When you say productive, what do you mean?
As in, some of us women who are so insecure that having a wedding band and answering misses is the be-all and end-all of life.
Oh, Lord. You need to come back so we can talk about that.
You stay in those kind of marriages where your husband has no regard and no respect for you, where he's sleeping around with all and sundry, and his family knows because they have accepted it. But let that man fall ill. It's not the side chick that they're asking to come and look after him. They will have the audacity and the cheek to be looking to you to look after their family member because they won't do it. And if he dies, you are the one that they will still show the same level of contempt and disrespect that your husband showed to his people when he was alive. I'm not into these kind of marriages that, if you do or die. Never.
Okay.
So I think those are the things we need to think about because when he dies...
I really feel there isn't enough time. There's so much I want to talk about, but quickly, I want us to talk about the book, the launch, and the venue. Where can we get tickets? Where, we've already said the book is available out now on Amazon on pre-order. If you order now on Amazon, you will get your book for the 21st. Okay. The launch is on the 24th. Quickly tell us about that. So the launch is
on the 24th. It's at the Leonardo Royal Hotel in St. Paul's. You can Google for tickets on Eventbrite. Just type in Not This Widow. It will come up. Or you can go on my personal page, Dilys Sillah, which is DILYS SILLAH. So you can go on my social media. You'll find all the details there. There's some VIP tickets where you get a glass of bubbly on arrival. You get a signed copy of the book. Private, so that will start at 6:30 to 7:30. Get premium seating, and it's going to be great. At the moment, we've got well over 100 people coming, so it's a big event.
So tickets are still available on Eventbrite. Okay, just go look for Not This Widow. Okay, and pick up your tickets. The event is on the 24th. And for more information, please go to...
You can go to my page, which is Dilys Sillah on Facebook. And from tomorrow, you can get the Kindle version of the book for 99 pence up until the 21st, which would be the anniversary of my husband's passing.
Okay. I'll have more details on my Instagram page as well and Facebook at Effiong Jones. Dilys, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
104.1 FM.
Hi guys, I am Effiong Jones. Thank you for watching and supporting my channel.